Man, I was fuming. Like, vision blurring, blood boiling mad. Running my own business means if there's no work, there's no money. 3 days with no jobs lined up, and my bank account was screaming. But you know what? I wasn't gonna wallow in it. It was Wednesday afternoon, still a couple days to salvage. Maybe I could turn this mess into a long weekend. Me and my wife, Hannah, hadn't gotten away in ages. The sky was clear, not a cloud in sight. Perfect for ditching this stress. I imagined us chilling somewhere peaceful, just the two of us, no drama. Maybe a little balcony, some whiskey, watching the sun dip low. Hell, even a cheap roadside inn with a decent view would work. I pulled into the driveway, stomach growling for dinner. Usually, Hannah's in the kitchen, catching the sound of my truck and rushing to greet me. Not today. The house was quiet. Probably upstairs, I grumbled to myself. Then I heard it, sharp clicks of heels on the hardwood. There she was, posed in front of the hallway mirror like she was auditioning for a Hollywood flick. Dressed to kill, like she was meeting someone who wasn't me. Her auburn hair was flawless, that silver bracelet I'd given her gleaming like a prize. Tight red dress, hugging her like a second skin. Sheer stockings, 3-inch heels clicking with every step. She caught my reflection in the mirror and froze, eyes wide with panic. "Wait, why are you home?" Hannah stammered. "Thought you were out till Friday." I just stared, my gaze cold as steel. "One question," I said, voice low and sharp. "Why the hell are you dolled up like that?" She fumbled, caught red-handed. Just heading out with some friends, babe," she said, her voice wobbling. "Friends, huh?" I snapped, my temper flaring. "Who are you really meeting?" "Spill it." She went still, her eyes screaming she'd been caught. "That handbag by the door?" Sitting there like it was ready for a quick grab and go. I stepped closer, my voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "We're sorting this out right now," I said. She flinched, not because I'd ever hurt her, she knew I wouldn't, but because my anger was the kind that burns through you. I snatched her bag like it was evidence at a crime scene. "Wait, stop," she gasped. "Don't do this." "I'm checking your phone," I growled. "Time to see who you're sneaking around with." Tears streamed down her face, smudging her makeup. "It was a mistake, Wade, I swear, it didn't mean anything," she pleaded, lunging for the bag. I yanked it back. "Try that again, and I'm gonna lose it," I warned, my voice low and lethal. Inside the bag, I found condoms. My gut twisted like I'd been stabbed. She went quiet, no excuses left. I tossed the bag to the floor, grabbed her phone, and scrolled through the call log. She tried to cover her tracks, but I wasn't born yesterday. She didn't expect me back for days. First call, Marla. Third, Kendra Willis. Then I saw it, Trent Harper, our so-called buddy. I flipped to the texts. Most were wiped, but not all. "Hannah, hey, love, Wade's gone for the weekend. Can you make it? I'm ready for you." Trent, "Damn, you're killing me. Can't skip work, but you know I want to. Didn't you say no coming to your place?" Hannah, "Just messing with you." Marla thinks I'm out of town. Got the whole night free. Trent, "You got the spot booked?" Hannah, "Yep, Blue Ridge Inn, right by the diner. Hoping for a big bed and some fun." Trent, "Can't wait. That new dress better come off quickly." Hannah, "Not much to take off, you'll see." Trent, "Meet me at 6 at the diner." Hannah, "I'll be there." I checked the time, 5:45. Blue Ridge Inn. Sounded familiar. Looked it up quick, used to be the old Pineview, rebranded by new owners last year. Trent Harper was about to get a visit he'd never forget. Back in the living room, Hannah trailed me, sobbing like a cornered animal. "Wade, please, don't do anything crazy," she begged, her voice shaking. "It was just a fling, I swear. It didn't mean anything." A fling. That's what she called it. I grabbed her car keys and ripped the landline cord from the wall. "What the hell, Wade?" she cried, tears mixing with panic. "Making damn sure you don't tip off your little side piece," I said, ice in my voice. "Wade, don't do this," she sobbed. "You already betrayed me," I shot back. "Now I'm gonna settle things with him, and you." I stormed upstairs to our bedroom, yanked the phone off the nightstand, and snapped the cord clean off. Hannah followed, voice trembling. "You're scaring me, Wade." I smirked bitterly. Maybe next time you'll think before you cheat on your husband. She could run to the neighbors and use their phone, but who remembers numbers these days? Cell phones killed that. And how was she gonna warn Trent I was coming to wreck his world in front of everyone? She chased me outside, yelling like a banshee, but I was done listening. All I could feel was this burning need to confront Trent. As I peeled out of the driveway, I saw Hannah collapse to her knees, hands covering her face. For a split second, the anger faded, replaced by a hollow ache. Why'd she do this? What's Trent got that I don't? Then the rage roared back. Guess I was about to find out. Traffic was a nightmare, cars clogging up the roads. It was 6:20 when I pulled up to the Starlight Diner across from the Blue Ridge Inn in Greensboro, North Carolina. I parked and stormed inside, my phone buzzing with a text from Hannah. Trent, you're late. Hope you're okay. Screw that. I barreled past the hostess, not caring who stared. Trent! I bellowed, loud enough to turn heads. He spun around, eyes wide like he'd seen a ghost. Wade, he stammered, voice dripping with fear. He tried to stand but tripped over his own feet, crashing to the floor with a thud. He scrambled backward, looking like a cornered dog. So this is the guy she picks over me? I thought. What's going on? Someone shouted from the back, but I didn't care. Wade, don't do anything dumb, Trent mumbled, struggling to his feet. I stepped forward and slapped him hard across the face. This jerk's been sleeping with my wife. I yelled, loud enough for the whole diner to hear. All right, maybe he's got it coming, but not here, some guy said, grabbing my arm as others stepped in to hold me back. I wasn't exactly cool-headed, but the folks holding me back kept me from going off the rails. I spotted Trent's phone sitting on the table, same model as mine. Quick as a flash, I swiped it and stuffed it in my pocket. One of the guys gripping my arm looked like he ran the place, maybe the diner's manager. He yelled at some dude named Tommy, "Get the police on the line." I glanced around, and nobody was watching me anymore. All eyes were glued to Trent, cowering like a whipped dog. So, I slipped out the door, knowing the cops would show up soon. But I had one last thing to settle, ruining Trent Harper's world. I stormed to my truck, slammed the door, and yanked out Trent's phone. I punched in his home number. Sure enough, Carla, his wife, picked up her voice with all sugar and spice. Hey, sweetie, weren't you supposed to be on that flight already? Everything okay? She asked, clueless as could be. Trent ain't on no plane, Carla, I said, voice flat as a board. He's right here at the Starlight Diner, cozying up with my wife. They're sneaking around behind our backs. A sharp gasp came through the line. What the hell? Who's this? Carla shrieked, her voice cracking like glass. I don't believe you. Who are you? This is Wade Conway, and I'm telling you it's the truth, I said, cold as a winter night. I heard her let out a heavy breath, like the wind got knocked out of her. Then Trent's phone buzzed with another call. I almost ignored it, but the number looked familiar. Hold up, I told Carla. Then I did something sharp, I patched the call into a three-way. Suddenly, Hannah's voice came through, loud and frantic. Trent, get out of there. Wade came home early and caught me getting ready to leave. He knows everything, Trent. He's coming for you, she screamed, panic dripping from every word. Then Carla's voice sliced in, pure venom. You're a filthy liar, Hannah, she spat. I'll tear you apart, you snake. Hannah fired back, come and try it, Carla. A beat of silence hit, then Hannah realized who else was on the line. No, 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 she wailed, tears choking her voice. In the background, I heard another woman, Rhea, Hannah's closest friend. I checked the number on Trent's phone, it matched Rhea's. She lived a few blocks away in a quiet Greensboro suburb. Hannah must have bolted to her place to use the phone, not wanting the neighbors to overhear her mess. Plus, we all ran in the same circles, so Rhea probably had Trent's number anyway. The call cut off, Hannah's sobs fading into static. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my head straight. The last hour had turned my life upside down. 2 marriages blown to bits in one go. Hannah and I didn't have kids, but Trent and Carla had a daughter. I stared out the windshield, my vision blurry, asking the same damn question every guy in my shoes does, why? I thought she was happy with me. Where did I screw up? My eyes stung, tears rolling down my face. I loved her so damn much once. How could she stab me in the back like this? No answers came, just more pain. Sirens snapped me out of it. 3 cop cars screeched into the diner's lot in seconds. Man, they didn't waste time. I sat there, frozen, weighing my options. Trent would rat me out, and the cops would come knocking at my door eventually. Might as well face it now. But my truck was a problem, loaded with my work tools, expensive stuff I couldn't risk getting towed. I called my assistant, Jessa. She'd just gotten back from a job in Durham and had a spare key to my truck. I hated dragging her into this, knowing she was wiped out, but when I explained, she stepped up like a champ. "I'll be there in 30 minutes, Jessa said. "We'll leave your truck in the lot and take my car. Text me the garage code so I can park it safe. I'll grab a rideshare after and expense it." Honestly, I'd be lost without her. With the truck handled, I had no more reasons to stall. I headed back to the diner. The cop cars were still out front, but inside, things had quieted down. A waiter jerked his thumb toward the back. "They're all gone," he said. I nodded and made my way past the counter, down a narrow hall to an office door. Voices rumbled inside. I knocked. "Come in," someone barked. Inside was the guy who'd held me earlier, definitely the manager, plus 3 cops and Trent. Trent was slumped in a chair, holding an ice pack to his cheek, already swelling up purple. Every eye locked on me as I stepped in. "I just found out he's been messing with my wife," I said, voice steady. "Guess I lost my cool." One cop turned to Trent. "This the guy who hit you?" Before Trent could speak, the manager jumped in. "Yeah, that's him. Mr. Conway," he said, nodding at me. The older cop looked at Trent. "Mr. Harper, you pressing charges?" Trent stayed quiet, probably scrambling to figure out how to keep this from Carla. "If you're worried about Carla finding out, she already knows," I said, tossing his phone back to him. He caught it, then crumpled, sobbing like a broken kid. No, he choked out, head in his hands. The cop glanced at the manager. "You want to charge him with causing a disturbance?" The manager shook his head fast. Then the cop turned to me. "Sir, let me see your ID." I handed it over. "You ought to get that jaw checked at a hospital," the cop told Trent. "Could be busted." Trent just mumbled he was fine, shaking his head. The cop handed my ID back. "No charges for now, so you're free to go, but don't skip town. If Harper's injuries are worse, this could come back," he said. "Officer Randall," I said, tucking my license away. "Mr. Conway, you seem like a guy who's quick to throw a punch." "How's Mrs. Conway holding up?" the cop asked. I bristled. "I ain't a violent man. Hannah's fine, I'd never lay a hand on her. But imagine walking in to find your wife all dolled up, ready to sneak off with another guy. How'd you feel?" He let out a sigh. "Fair point. I get it. You're lucky, though, this could have gone south fast. Maybe sit down with her. Things might not be as bad as they seem." I let out a bitter laugh at his armchair therapist routine and gave a tight nod. As I turned to leave, the manager piped up. "Mr. Conway, don't come back here." "No problem," I shot back. "I'm real good at making friends." Stepping out of the diner, the cop's words sank in. "Lucky. Yeah, I could be in cuffs right now." Then I noticed my truck was gone. Panic hit, someone swiped it with all my tools inside. Then it clicked, Jessa. Damn, she moved fast. Across the lot, I spotted her beat-up Ford. I thought about calling her but held off. She was probably dead tired from her Durham trip. No way I was going back to that diner, either. Across the street loomed the Blue Ridge Inn, probably where Hannah and that snake Trent had their little rendezvous. I had zero desire to step foot in there, no more than I wanted to go back to the Starlight Diner. "This is crazy," I muttered. "A building didn't do this to me." I walked in anyway. At the front desk, a young woman looked up. "Evening, sir." "Need something?" she asked, her name tag reading Mira. "Got a number for a taxi?" I asked. "Sure thing." "Want me to call one for you?" she offered. I managed a small grin. "That'd be great, thanks." I nodded at her tag. "Cool name, Mira." She smiled back. "Appreciate that." She dialed, and soon a cab was on its way. It dropped me off at home in Greensboro. I punched in the garage code, checked that my truck was safe, and headed inside, my gut twisting with nerves. I was pouring coffee in the kitchen when I sensed someone behind me. Rhea, what the hell are you doing here? Where's Hannah? I asked, turning. Sorry, Wade. Hannah gave me a spare key. She's too scared to come home, Rhea said. Scared? I echoed, frowning. She's terrified out of her mind, Rhea replied. I shook my head. I'd never touch her. It ain't about you hitting her, Rhea said. She's scared of what you'll say. I growled, fine. Tell her to stay gone till I pack up and leave. Don't do anything rash, Wade, Rhea said. Everyone's telling me to calm down. Tell me, Rhea, how am I supposed to act? Never thought I'd be in this mess. Rhea pulled out a chair. Mind if I grab some coffee when it's ready, she asked. Go for it, I said, sitting down. I don't get it. 3 days away, and she can't keep it together. Was I such a lousy husband? Rhea shook her head. If you were, she wouldn't be this shaken. She called Trent because she was scared of how you'd react. You rattled her. She wasn't thinking about me when she got all dressed up or when she was with Trent, I snapped. Rhea went quiet. I stared at the table, my mind a mess. Rhea, did you know about this? I asked. No, Wade, I swear I didn't, she said. I wasn't buying it. You don't believe me, do you? She said, reading my face. I don't know what to believe anymore, I admitted. Maybe you should grab whatever you came for. She looked stung. You're usually a good guy, Wade. Don't let this break you, she said. Too late, it already has, I shot back. I haven't hit anyone since I was a kid. Today, I liked it. You hit Trent? Rhea asked, eyes wide. Damn right. If we'd been alone, I'd have done worse, I said. You getting arrested? She asked. Maybe not. Trent didn't press charges, but that could change, I said. I feel bad for Carla and their daughter. And you, Rhea said. No idea what Hannah was thinking, I muttered. If you figure it out, let me know, Rhea said. I paused, my chest tight. If you didn't know, I'm sorry for doubting you. But if you did, we're done. Just leave. Rhea stood, her voice soft. I get it. I'll grab her stuff and go. The coffee maker hissed. Rhea returned with a small duffel of Hannah's things. Wade, what do I tell her? Can she come back? She asked. No, I said flatly. I don't want to see her, talk to her, nothing. Tell her to crash at your place or use her credit card for a motel. She can come back Friday night. You won't be here? Rhea asked. Nah, I'll stay at the workshop till I find a new place, I said. I walked her to the door. Sorry, I snapped. I loved Hannah. Never thought she'd do this. It's something I'll never get over or forgive. Our marriage is done. Tell her I'm seeing a lawyer Monday. Clear? Rhea nodded. I'll tell her. I'm sorry, Wade. This is messed up. You two cared about each other. It's just wrong. She left, and her words lingered. I felt a pang. Rhea and her husband, Mitch, were good folks. I didn't know them like Hannah did, but we'd hung out. I doubted Rhea knew about the affair, but I didn't want anyone around right now. Back in the kitchen, I poured coffee and stared out the window, my mind blank. Nothing added up. Why'd she do it? What was going through her head? I was lost. My stomach rumbled. I hadn't eaten since dawn. All this in one day? My whole life unraveled that fast? I didn't want to cook or go out. Hungry, but no appetite. Just empty. The clock read nearly 10 p.m. I'd been sitting there for hours. There was a 24-hour diner nearby in Winston-Salem. Greasy, overpriced food, but I didn't care. I needed something. The place was dead, just a few stragglers. I slid onto a stool at the counter. A kind-eyed older waitress brought a menu and coffee. I barely glanced at it, ordering a burger before she finished pouring. My mind drifted as I waited. The anger was fading, replaced by a dull ache. I couldn't stay with her. She knew it. Forgiveness isn't my thing. The plate landed in front of me. Need a warm-up on that coffee, hon? The waitress asked. Yeah, thanks, I said. She was gone before I could say more. I tried to eat, but the food tasted like cardboard. By 11:30, I was done. After a 4 a.m. start and a long drive from Durham, I should have been wiped, but I was wired. Didn't want to face an empty house. I started the truck, no destination in mind, and ended up at my workshop by 2 a.m., the only place that still felt like mine. My truck was still loaded with my work gear. I hauled it into the workshop, collapsed on the old couch, and was out cold before my head hit the cushion. Next thing I knew, my phone was buzzing, jarring me awake. I sat up, shaking off the haze, and answered. "Yeah, who's this?" I mumbled, squinting at the clock. 10:30 a.m. Damn, I slept hard. "Wait, it's Mitch Randall," the voice said. "Hannah stayed at our place last night." I was tense. "Yeah, I told Rhea to keep her there or put her in a motel if you didn't want her around." No, it's not like that," Mitch said. "Didn't want to get in the middle of this. Just making sure you're cool with it." "Thanks, Mitch," I said. "You sound rough." "You holding up?" he asked. "Rough day yesterday," I replied. Mitch seemed out of the loop about the diner incident. "Did you really deck Trent Harper?" he asked. "Yeah, he was messing around with Hannah," I said. "No way." "You sure?" he asked. "Rhea mentioned you two were fighting, but no specifics." "I need to process this," I said. "They're best friends, Mitch. Makes me uneasy." "Look, Wade," I cut in, "it's just till tomorrow night. I need time to grab my stuff. Told Rhea to send Hannah home Friday." Silence hung on the line. "Rhea didn't tell me any of this," Mitch said, sounding annoyed. "I'm pissed she kept it quiet." I heard him sigh. "All right, I'll let her stay if you're sure." "Yeah, that works," I said. "Never liked Trent." "Smug bastard," Mitch said. "Wouldn't trust him alone with Rhea, that's for damn sure." "No kidding," I said. "All right, Wade, I gotta run. You're dealing with a lot. Need anything?" "Appreciate it, Mitch." "Maybe just hold Trent down while I pour hot coffee down his throat," I said, half joking. He chuckled. "Still got a sense of humor? Are you serious?" "Nah, probably not," I said, forcing a laugh. "Don't be too hard on Rhea. They've been tight since 5th grade. 6th, actually," I corrected. "Yeah, it still bugs me," he said, then hung up. I sat on the edge of the couch, staring at the floor, mapping out my next steps. Furniture didn't matter anymore, but I needed my work stuff, laptop, monitors, some light tools for side gigs. Funny thing is, I used to love shooting family portraits. Guess that's on hold for a while. My stomach growled, but I didn't feel like eating. Still, I started packing. Once I got going, I didn't stop until everything I cared about was boxed up. Then I hit a Waffle House a few blocks from the workshop in Winston-Salem, downed 3 cups of coffee, chatted a bit with the waitress, and scarfed a double cheeseburger. As I was finishing, my phone rang. It was Jessa. "Yo, Wade, you alright?" "I was half expecting you to call me from a jail cell," she said. "Nah, the guy I hit isn't pressing charges." "I'm good," I said. "Damn, you sure Hannah was cheating?" "Doesn't seem like her," Jessa said. "No doubt about it," I replied. "I'm crashing at the workshop for now. If you see lights on late, don't panic." "Got it," she said. "Need anything?" "Not now, Jessa." "Thanks," I said. We hung up. I paid the bill and headed back to the workshop to load the truck. It took 3 trips, but I got everything I wanted moved. By 8 p.m., I was done. Hunger hit again, so I swung by a grocery store, grabbed some microwave dinners, and was back at the workshop by 9:30. Boredom set in, then loneliness, then a deep, gnawing sadness. I sprawled on the couch, wondering why I'm so damn bad at letting things go. People call it a flaw, say I hold grudges too tight. Hannah saw it years ago at my high school reunion. Back when I was a kid, I hustled odd jobs, mowing lawns, washing cars, to buy my first ride junior year. A beat-up old sedan, but it ran. Callie Thornton was the first girl to ride in it. We started going steady, and for 3 months, life was golden, good grades, solid friends, a car, and a sweet girlfriend. What more could I want? Then one Saturday, I went to pick her up. Her mom answered, looking awkward. "Callie went out with some friends earlier," she said. "Don't think she's coming back soon." I was floored. If it was something serious, fine, but at least give me a heads up. I waited all Sunday for her to call. Nothing. By Monday, I was pissed. At school, we had a study hall in the library. I liked knocking out homework there. Callie liked flipping through music magazines. I hadn't seen her since Friday and was itching for answers. I walked in and spotted her with her friend Marla at the magazine rack, their backs to me, giggling. I didn't even have to ask. "So, you went out with Jake Ramsey, huh?" "Lucky you," Marla said, laughing. I knew Jake, older guy, out of school, worked at an auto shop, thought he was hot stuff. "Yeah, I was supposed to go with Wade, but I ran into Jake at the arcade Friday," Callie said. "He bought me a soda, asked me out. How do you say no?" "No way you do," Marla said. "Does Wade know you ditched him for someone else?" "Hell no," Callie said. "What did you tell him?" Marla asked. "Didn't. Just told my mom to say I was with friends. Jake picked me up before Wade got there, so I bailed." They both laughed. "Was Wade mad?" Marla asked. "Dunno, haven't seen him," Callie said. "Mom said he looked confused and left. I'll figure out what to say at lunch." "What's your plan?" Marla asked. "Spent all Sunday cooking up a story," Callie bragged. "Got it all figured out." "Still seeing Jake?" Marla asked. "Maybe a couple more times. He's kinda dull. Wade's more fun, makes me laugh." "Jake just brags about himself," Callie said. I stepped forward. "Nah, you should stick with Jake," I said coldly. Callie spun around, muttering, "Oh, damn." I turned and walked out, not saying another word. 10 years later, at our reunion, Callie saw me with Hannah and tried to chat me up. I grabbed my wife's hand and walked away without a glance. Hannah's shock didn't faze me. Time doesn't fix every wound. The hurt dulls, but it lingers like a bad bruise. Why bother forgiving? I treat folks the way I expect to be treated, loyal to a fault, maybe. Even after moving a couple times, I still hit up the same barber I've gone to since I was 20. Got clients I could ditch, but I don't. They helped me build my life. People call me hard-headed, but that's my code, and I'm not bending it for anyone. You'd think Hannah would have known that and stayed true, but nope. Tears stung my eyes. Never felt pain like this. Worse because she swore she loved me. I lay on the couch, staring at the workshop ceiling, asking why. No signs, no hints. 1 minute, we're married and good, the next, it's ashes. Was it about sex? Was she that miserable with me? They say women cheat for emotional reasons. Hell if I know. Didn't care. I hadn't cried since I was a kid, but that night, I let it out. Questions swirled, no answers came. Finally, I passed out. Woke up to the hum of Greensboro traffic, not the quiet I was used to. Sighed, dragged myself up. Should have been in bed, holding Hannah. Missed her something fierce. Brewed coffee, hit the shower, and felt a bit clearer. Headed to a Waffle House, mulling over my next move. Had to stay busy, sitting in the workshop all day would drive me insane. As I finished my coffee, that motel clerk popped into my head. No idea why. Hadn't thought of her since she called me that cab, but I pictured her, jet black hair, sharp features, flawless skin, deep brown eyes, and a smile that could light up a room. Wondered if she'd ever considered modeling. Couldn't know without getting her in front of a lens, but my gut said she had it. Paid the bill, grabbed my keys and laptop, and headed to the Blue Ridge Inn. Felt a little lighter walking in. She was at the desk. I'd worked with new models before, but convincing someone from scratch was new. Waited till a guest left, then approached. "Hey," I said, offering a grin. "Hi, sir." "Need something?" she asked, her smile easy. "You remember me?" I asked. "Yeah, from the other day." "Need another cab?" she said. I chuckled. "Nah, got my truck now. You helped me out big time. Here's my card. I'm Wade Conway, photographer. I shoot models all the time. Ever thought about giving it a try?" She hesitated, then nodded. "Maybe. I'd need test shots first, right?" I saw the doubt in her eyes, knew what was coming. "Do I have to pose without clothes?" she asked. "I deal with enough creeps in this job, guys who think a camera is a pickup line. Most are amateurs, but even the pros can be shady." "No way, nothing like that," I said. Got my laptop here. Wanna see my portfolio? You got a break coming up? If not, lunch is on me. She paused, thinking it over, then flashed that smile. All right, lunch at 11:30. There's a spot across the street, she said. Starlight Cafe? I asked, wincing. I'm kinda banned from there. Long story. I forced a laugh, keeping it light. Another place work? She asked. Yeah, there's a deli around the corner, Maple Grove, I said. Perfect, I eat there sometimes, she said. Cool, 11:30 at Maple Grove. Catch you then, I said, heading out. As I left, my mind was already framing shots she'd be perfect for. I had an hour, so I called Lena, a killer makeup artist I'd worked with before. After quick hellos, I got to the point. Wanna do a TFP shoot? I asked. Maybe, she said. Got a new face in mind. Never modeled, but she's got that natural spark. What's her look? Lena asked. Dark skin, maybe Italian roots, black hair, deep eyes, I said. Got a jewelry gig next month, sultry vibe. She'd nail it. When? Lena asked. Not sure yet. Gotta see if she's game. Talking to her soon, I said. I'm in. Let me know, Lena said. Thanks, I said. Next, I called Tara, my go-to stylist. She was free. Jessa would round out the crew. Now I just had to get the clerk on board. Got restless waiting in the lot, so I grabbed a coffee inside. When she showed up, she had a guy with her, wearing a motel badge. I figured this might be a bust. Hey, Mr. Conway, hope it's cool, I brought a friend, she said, sitting down. No problem. Tony's on his own tab, though, I said, nodding at him. I told the waitress I was expecting someone, so she was quick. I was annoyed, ready to make Tony cover his own meal, but by the time we ordered, I realized she was just being careful. Told the waitress to put it all on me. Before I could pitch my idea, Tony jumped in. How do we know you're legit, he said, sharp. Anyone can print a business card. Got references we can call? I got it, he was her backup. But putting me on the spot when I'm trying to help? That's too much. Alright, this ain't working, I said, standing. I tossed $30 on the table, grabbed my laptop. Lunch is on me. I walked out. Back at the workshop, my phone rang. It was Jessa. Hey, boss, how you holding up? She asked. Been better, I said. You at the workshop? Yeah, just got back. Thinking of hitting Waffle House around noon. Wanna join? I asked. Nah, I'm good, she said. Could swing by, though. Maybe plan a shoot? Thanks, Jessa, but I'm alright. Enjoy your weekend. See you Monday, I said. You sure? She asked. Yeah, don't worry about work till then, I said. She thanked me, and we hung up. I went to Waffle House for lunch, got back around 2:30, feeling like I was drifting. Tried to nap, but my head wouldn't shut off. Cursed Trent under my breath, if it weren't for him, none of this would have happened. Got up, messed with some photo edits to kill time. By 5 o'clock, I gave up. Thought about catching a movie when someone knocked. Peeked out, it was Mira, alone. I opened the door. Hey, she said, looking shy. Glad I caught you. Wanted to apologize for Tony. He was just watching out for me. You came all the way here to say sorry? I asked. Yeah, I felt awful when you left, she said. Thought about calling, but I wanted to say it in person. I was genuinely impressed. I didn't know where Mira lived, but it was a haul to get to my workshop in Winston-Salem. Thanks for coming out here, I said. Since you're here, want to check out the studio? She nodded, and I gave her a quick tour, lights, backdrops, the works. Back in the office, I poured her some coffee while she browsed my website. She looked intrigued but hesitant. Do I need to sign a bunch of contracts? She asked, sipping her drink. Nah, just a simple modeling release so we and clients can use the photos, I said. If you go pro, you'll sign plenty, but this is just to get started. She mulled it over, her eyes lighting up. Can we take some shots now? She asked, eager. Not today, I said, and her face fell. You need hair, makeup, and something besides that motel uniform. Her excitement dimmed. "How much is all that gonna cost me?" she asked. I grinned. "Not a dime. I'm giving you a shot to make money, not spend it. I've got pros for hair and makeup. You sign the release, that's their payment. They'll use the photos to promote you. Sounds good?" I asked. "Yeah, absolutely," she said, her smile returning. "All right, let's set it up," I said. I had her jot down my schedule, then called Lena and Tara. We locked in Sunday afternoon for the shoot, reserved 4 hours, and told Mira to bring a few outfit options. No makeup, our team would handle that. We chatted more, and she thanked me a ton before leaving around 8 p.m. That whole thing was the perfect distraction. For the first time in 2 days, I went a few hours without Hannah's betrayal eating at me. I started scribbling shoot ideas, and before I knew it, it was midnight. Didn't want to sleep, knew it'd bring the pain back. Lying there, I missed her so damn much. Wondered what she was doing. Was she back home, regretting it all? System, all? Crying herself to sleep? I pictured her curled up, tears streaming. It broke my heart, but I couldn't let it soften me. No matter how much I loved her, trust was gone for good. I passed out from sheer exhaustion. Morning came with the grind of city traffic waking me up. I dragged myself to Waffle House for breakfast, a routine to keep me grounded. Halfway through my meal, my phone buzzed. Mitch Randall. Didn't want to talk in the middle of the diner, plus my food was getting cold, so I ignored it. Back at the workshop, I checked his text. "Wade, can we grab coffee today?" Mitch and I never hung out without our wives, so this was about Hannah. I was still raw, unsure if I could keep my cool, but I needed to hear him out. We met at a cozy coffee shop in Greensboro. "How are you holding up?" he asked, sitting down. I just stared. "Yeah, dumb question," he said, wincing. With all this going on, I trailed off. "Is she back home?" he asked. "Nah, still at your place," I said. "Rhea says she's a wreck. Barely stops crying, beating herself up for hurting you." I nodded, feeling the weight of her pain but holding firm. "Did she say why she did it?" I asked. Mitch leaned back, sighing. "That's all she and Rhea talk about. No clear answer. A mix of things. Believe it or not, some old high school romance novel played a part." I scoffed. "Seriously?" "Yeah," he said. "Some book about a woman cheating, made it sound like this thrilling, romantic thing. And jealousy. Jealousy of my models?" I asked. "Not exactly," Mitch said. "Your job, though. She thought it was glamorous, exciting. Remember that big jazz band shoot you did for their album cover? She was there." I nodded. "It was a big deal, shot at a fancy old estate on Magnolia Street. Hannah tagged along, dying to meet the band. She spent more time chatting with them than helping me set up. I caught her giggling with the bassist, thought it was cute, like she was starstruck. She talked about that night for weeks," Mitch said. "It was at that bar, the Lantern, near our place." "Yeah, I remember," I said. "Trent and Carla were there too." "Exactly," Mitch said. "Trent noticed how she was acting. Started dropping by your house after that, saying he was in the neighborhood. Told her not to tell you, said Carla would lose it if she knew." "His plan?" I asked, my jaw tightening. "Yup," Mitch said. "He fed her jealousy about your job, told her to live a little. Even bragged about his own affair, said it was the best thing he ever did. Pushed her to try it. That's when the book came up?" I asked. Mitch nodded, sipping his coffee. "At first, she was terrified you'd kick her out if you found out. But Trent swore it'd stay secret, saying you'd never know. Made it sound like her big adventure, some fantasy like she was a movie star or something." I clenched my fist, wishing I'd hit Trent harder. "He played her," Mitch said. "Took his time, waited till you were out of town for that job. Planned it all, convinced her it was safe as long as you didn't suspect a thing." Mitch's words about Trent's scheming burned in my mind. I itched to cross paths with that snake again. "Gotta track him down first," Mitch said, smirking. "Carla's probably keeping it hush-hush." "Wish she'd told me," I said, half joking. "I'd get her a damn trophy for burying him." "Can't believe Hannah bought his garbage," I said. "If she wanted a thrill, she could have gone bungee jumping instead of torching our marriage." Mitch sighed. "No way to fix this, huh? Wish there was, I said. But it wasn't a one-time thing. Texts show it happened before. More than once? Mitch asked, shocked. Yeah, at least twice, maybe 3, not counting when I caught her, I said. I'm not living with my eyes on her, wondering who she's with. She knows she blew it, Mitch said. No chance for you too? Thought there might be, I admitted, but she knew what she was risking with that jerk. Mitch nodded. Your job's pretty wild, huh? Keeps things lively? Guess so, I said. Always chasing new ideas. Old mentor of mine used to say, think outside the frame, even if you're shooting a square. We grabbed a couple more coffees, then parted ways. I liked Mitch, first time we really talked without our wives. He was sharp, easygoing. But I knew there was no going back with Hannah. Tried to let it go, but the trust was dead. It was over. That night, I slept a bit better, but the ache wasn't fading fast. Sunday morning, I was up early, gear still boxed from the move. Took an hour to set up for Myra's shoot, then showered and hit a Waffle House for breakfast. Back at the workshop, Jessa was brewing coffee. I told her about the jewelry shoot idea but swore her to secrecy, didn't want to get Myra's hopes up if the client passed. Next month, we had a big shoot lined up in downtown Asheville. Midnight to sunrise, major jewelry campaign. Permits, security, the works, client hired guards since the pieces were worth a fortune. 2 models were booked, but I was hoping Myra could be one. Lena and Tara arrived minutes apart. I laid out the plan. Myra showed up, and everyone lit up. She looked stunning, even barefaced. The girls took her to the dressing room to pick outfits, while Jessa prepped the studio. This girl's a gem, Jessa said. Can't wait to see her in front of the lens. Same, I said. Myra was a natural. I coached her on working the camera and lights, and she took to it like she'd been doing it for years. Moved smoothly, followed direction like a pro. We shot for 4 hours, with breaks for makeup and outfit changes, 3 distinct looks, multiple outfits. Everyone was buzzing. Jessa made more coffee while I downloaded the photos. We spent an hour gushing over the shots. I had a packed Monday, so I promised to edit them that night. By 3 a.m., I sent out emails, 10 shots for Tara's hairstyles, 10 for Lena's makeup, 25 for Myra. I was so beat I barely thought of Hannah before crashing. Next morning, I woke to the smell of coffee and Jessa shaking me. Rise and shine, slacker, she teased, holding a mug. I blinked, then realized why she was grinning. I was sprawled out, sheet barely covering me, in my boxers. Jessa, damn it. I yelped, yanking the sheet up, face burning. Relax, I've seen worse, she laughed, setting the coffee down. It's almost 7:30. She left, and I muttered, overslept, crap, gulping coffee before bolting to the shower. 20 minutes later, I joined Jessa to review the photos. Myra's a star, Wade, she said. She could go big if she stays focused. Yeah, she's got it, I said, pulling up another folder. These are test shots for the jewelry campaign. Sending them to Vance today, see if he thinks she fits. Vance Keller ran accounts for Sterling Gems, my top client. No way he'll pass, Jessa said. She's perfect. Let's not jinx it, I said. This industry's brutal. Don't want to hype Myra till we get the green light. I checked my schedule, 2 small studio shoots today. It was nearly 8:45, and I planned to call my lawyer at 9 o'clock. Sent Vance the shots, then Jessa asked, hungry? Want me to grab a Waffle House? I didn't know what I'd do without her. Hired her 3 years ago when she was 19, studying design at a local college in Durham. Needed a summer job, fell in love with photography, and stayed on full-time. She was cute, blonde, green eyes, curvy in a way that worked for her. Now that I am getting divorced, I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about asking her out, but she'd been with her boyfriend for over a year, probably headed for a ring. I handed her $20 for food for both of us. After she left, I called my lawyer, laid out the situation. Said I'd give Hannah the house and all property if she signed over the business. We had about $75,000 in assets. He said the papers would be ready in a few days. When I hung up, Jessa was back with food. We laughed, prepped for the first shoot. Then my phone rang, Vance. Wade, those shots of the new girl? She's perfect for Sterling, he said. She's free, right? You sent test shots. Her name's Myra, I said. Didn't want to get her hopes up till it was confirmed. Can you lock her in soon? He asked. Tomorrow, I said. Great. Pays $1,200. Should work, he said. Sterling needs to sign off, though. They trust my picks, I said. She's in. We chatted a bit, then hung up. Jessa, who'd overheard, grinned. Well, that's gonna make her day. Yeah, but I'm not divorced yet, I said. Myra's young, 20 or so. I'd never put her or any model in a weird spot where a job feels like a favor. Jessa nodded, she knew my deal. We had hours before the next shoot, so I called Myra's cell, left a voicemail to call me back. She did around 4 o'clock. You got your first gig, I said. She let out a scream that nearly blew out my eardrum. After I checked my hearing, I went on. It's a night shoot in downtown Asheville, 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. sunrise shots. Agency's got a van for makeup, hair, and dressing, but you'll share with another model. Security's there too. Later that week, Thursday afternoon, my phone pinged. Thought it was a shoot update. Nope, divorce papers from my lawyer, Ellis. The reality hit like a brick. Gave Jessa the day off and poured coffee, sinking into a chair to read. The terms were as I'd asked, generous to Hannah on the surface, but the workshop was worth more than the house. Still, if she sold it, she'd have enough to start over. She'd keep her paid-off SUV, half our $16,000 savings, and most furniture. I just wanted my gear and office. Seemed fair. Hope she'd agree. The legal jargon was dense, and I took my time. Thought about dropping the papers off that night but held off. Checked the time and decided to eat instead, needed a day to brace myself. Deep down, I wasn't ready. Wondered if Mitch and Rhea were still tight. Hit a Maple Grove deli, wandered the workshop, tried editing photos, but my heart wasn't in it. Went to bed but couldn't sleep, second-guessing everything. This was one of the biggest calls I'd ever made. First was marrying Hannah, her proposal catching me off guard. Second was launching the business with her support. Now I had to see if I could live without her. Friday morning, after a sleepless night, I knew we couldn't rebuild. Counseling might patch things up, but the trust was gone. I'm not the same guy anymore, and neither is she. She'll carry that guilt forever. It's not a marriage, it's a ghost. I grabbed coffee, microwaved a burrito, and got ready. We had a shoot for Timeless Vogue since the Durham job was done. Stayed busy to keep my mind off things. Wrapped up around 2 o'clock. Jessa noticed my mood. You're quiet today, she said. Thinking about Hannah, I said. Gotta serve her the divorce papers tonight. Hate it. We're done early, she said. Let's close up and grab a real lunch, not Waffle House. Sounds good, I said. We talked about everything but my drama, and I felt lighter by the time we got back. I called Mitch, who I'd been dodging. He said Hannah was set to come home but they'd convinced her to stay another week. Can I come by after work? Need privacy with her, I asked. Yeah, no problem, he said. Around 7 o'clock, I rang their doorbell in a quiet Winston-Salem neighborhood. Mitch answered. You eat yet? He asked. Just did, I said. Hannah and Rhea are cleaning up. We can fix you something. Thanks, Mitch, but I gotta do this, I said, holding up the envelope. He nodded, catching the weight of it. Rhea, Wade's here for Hannah. Give them space, he called. Rhea appeared, eyes closed, shaking her head, saying nothing. She followed Mitch upstairs. I saw Hannah in the kitchen, looking hollow, staring at nothing. When she saw the envelope, fear flashed across her face. I sat down. She wouldn't meet my eyes, just stared at the table. Hannah, I said softly. I'm sorry, she whispered, voice breaking. I know, I said. But it doesn't change things. Ellis drew up the papers, I said. You get the house, the SUV, half our savings. Why? She asked, barely audible. I want full control of the business. It's a fair split, I said. I'm so sorry, Wade, she said, tears falling. I didn't mean to hurt you. I don't know why I did it. I wanted to snap back, but her pain stopped me. Didn't want to pile on. I know, Hannah. Mitch said you were chasing some thrill. Wish you'd told me. If you were unhappy, we could have worked on it, I said. I stood, place the papers on the table. Read them. If they don't seem fair, let me know. She fought back sobs. It's all my fault. I don't deserve this, she said. Just look them over, I said. I turned to leave, then paused. I should say this, I'll always love you, Hannah. Last week, I hated you, too, maybe still do. But the love's still there. I walked out, thanked Mitch and Rhea upstairs, and wiped my eyes as I left their house. Didn't usually drink alone, but that night I did. Parked at the workshop, walked a few blocks to a dive bar I'd never tried in Greensboro, sat in a dim corner, and knocked back 4 whiskeys. Got to bed past 1 o'clock, wondering how Hannah was holding up. Slept fast. Saturday, I hunted for an apartment, sick of the workshop's backroom. Found a 1-bedroom on Cedar Lane with a small balcony. Put down a deposit, pending a credit check. Bonus, secure parking. Sunday was better. Work kept me sane. Mira showed up at 11 a.m., just the 2 of us until 3 o'clock. Wasn't aiming for perfect shots, just training. I showed her how to glide between poses, sync with the flash, read the lighting, and avoid casting shadows on the other model. Taught her industry lingo, which gigs to jump on, which to pass. By the end, I was confident she'd nail it if she stayed focused. Big cities like LA or Milan are waiting, I told her. Booked 2 more practice sessions before the big shoot. Hated seeing her leave, hadn't thought about Hannah or the divorce since she walked in. Monday crawled by until the phone rang twice that afternoon. First, the apartment folks called, my application was approved, and I could move into the Cedar Lane place tomorrow. Then Mitch called, wanting to meet after work. We hit the same Greensboro coffee shop. He had the envelope with the divorce papers. Hannah asked me to look them over, he said. I'm no lawyer, but I told her they seemed fair, so she signed. Nothing shady in there, right? I asked, a little stung. No way, Wade. You're better than that, he said, sliding the envelope back. Sorry, man. This legal stuff's just new to me. How's she doing? I asked. She'll pull through, Mitch said. Waiting was the worst part. Now that you've served the papers, she's starting to accept it. But she'd run back to you in a heartbeat if you forgave her. Ain't happening, I said. Serving those papers was the hardest thing I've ever done, but it had to be done. You can love and hate someone at the same time, Mitch said. Got me thinking about me and Rhea. Don't know if I'd have the guts to do what you did. Wish I didn't have to, I said. Seeing you 2 go through this killed any thoughts of straying for me, he said. Didn't even cross my mind, but watching your mess made me and Rhea talk. We kinda recommitted to each other last night. It stung hearing how solid they were, wished Hannah and I could have been like that. Heard from our crew? I asked. Not much, he said. Some folks think you're too hard on her, say you should forgive. Women mostly. Guys are on your side. Whole damn city knows our drama? I asked. Pretty much, he said. Carla's probably telling everyone about Trent and his side thing. She filed for divorce? I asked. Yup, he said, chuckling. She's ready to skin him alive. He'll be lucky to keep his socks. We finished our coffee, and he headed home. Hannah's coming back Wednesday or Thursday, he said, catching my unease. Don't worry, we're keeping an eye on her. Thanks, Mitch. Tell Rhea I appreciate it, I said. It's done now. I'll get the papers to Ellis in 6 months. You'll be divorced. Tuesday felt like any other day. Alarm woke me, had a couple small shoots, nothing major, but enough to keep me going. Even with the apartment lined up, I was still crashing in the workshop's backroom. No bed, no furniture, just empty space. Planned to shop after work, but I was always too drained. Not busy, just down, maybe a touch of depression. Decided I'd move by Sunday, even if it meant sleeping on the floor. Saturday, I bought a bed, a table, some chairs, and a couch. Pulled my desk and office gear from storage. Set it all up Sunday evening, stocked the fridge, cooked a quick dinner, and sank into my new couch. Quiet. Lonely. This was my life now, work, empty apartment, TV, and a basic stereo. The best part was working with Mira. Sometimes I caught myself daydreaming about her, just dreams, nothing more. She was serious about modeling, and I'd never go there. Models travel constantly, get hit on by rich guys chasing arm candy. After my marriage imploded, no way I'd sign up for that. The Sterling Gems shoot night arrived. Kurt Sterling, their marketing VP, was there with Vance. Jessa brought her boyfriend, Caleb, to help. 3 armed guards, 2 makeup artists, a stylist, 13 of us total. Big shoots like this take serious planning. We went an hour past sunrise but had to wrap when the Asheville streets got busy. The client was thrilled. Kurt was all over Mira, flirting like a creep. He was pushing 50, married, and it pissed me off. I pulled her aside. "Watch out for guys like Kurt," I said. "I deal with worse at the motel," she said. "Guys always ask for my room number." I shut them down politely. Over the next month, I booked Mira every chance I got. She was earning more in a week than a month at the motel. Her schedule forced her to choose, and she picked modeling. Things were falling into place, business was growing, apartment was set. Her Hannah was back home, managing. Friends were checking on her, and someone got her a receptionist job. One day, the phone rang. "Jessa, can you grab it?" I called. She came back, wide-eyed. "It's Felix Warwick," she said. I froze. Felix was a legend, a top photographer in Charlotte, shooting for high-end magazines and working with elite models. "What's he want?" I asked. "Just to talk," she said. I grabbed the phone. "Wade, Felix Warwick here." "How you doing?" he said, voice smooth. "Good, Felix." "You?" I asked. 72 and still kicking, he joked. "I need a girl for a shoot, not with an agency. Everyone pointed me to you." "Brunette, dark eyes." "Mira," I said instantly. "Think she's free next week for a fashion gig?" he asked. "Pretty sure." "Can I give her your number?" I asked. "Yeah, and my cell in case the studio's tied up," he said, rattling off digits. He asked her to call by tomorrow night. Jessa, who'd been listening, raised an eyebrow. "He wants Mira?" "Yup," I said, less thrilled than I should have been. "You don't want her to do it?" she asked. "I do," I said. "Just wanted her with us a bit longer." It sounded selfish as hell. "What's that mean?" Jessa asked. "This is her shot. She'll make more on that gig than all her work with us." "She owes you, Wade," Jessa said. "You got her started." "She won't have a choice," I said. "Once Felix's name's on her photos, she'll be drowning in offers, making 10 times what we can pay." I felt protective, almost like losing another piece of my life. Not that there was anything between us, but I cared. Called Mira right away. She pushed back at first. "I only want to work with you," she said. "You can't build a career with one photographer," I told her. "Call Felix now, right after we hang up." She promised she would. Didn't hear from her for days, figured she might have blown it off. Then, for days later, she burst into the workshop, practically bouncing. "I got it. I got it," she shouted. Felix's gig, $30,000 for one shoot. She threw her arms around me, hugging tight. Jessa stood there, smirking like she'd called it. I knew Mira was on her way to being a star, and I might not see her again. "Remember what I taught you," I said. "Watch out for guys like Kurt Sterling, they'll be everywhere." "Got it, boss," she grinned, teasing. "You gotta sign with big agencies, too." I explained to Mira how agencies work. They take a cut, but they'll get you gigs. Start with Ford or Elite, they'll push your portfolio in places like New York, Miami, even London. "London," she gasped, eyes wide. "You really think I can make it there?" "Pretty damn sure," I said, forcing a grin to hide the lump in my throat. I handed her the agency cards. "I'll call them tomorrow," she promised, planting a quick kiss on my cheek. "Thank you, Wade." "You too, Jessa," she said, glancing back. Jessa just smiled and wished her luck. As Mira left, practically glowing, I knew that was probably it, I'd never see her again. 30 grand for one shoot, Jessa said, shaking her head. This time next year, she'll be working with the elite, pulling 6 figures, hobnobbing with the rich and famous. We'll be a footnote. I looked at my trusty assistant. "Come on," I said, faking a smile. "Let's get back to work." For months, that's all I did, work, work, work. Like every guy in my shoes, I drowned myself in it. The upside? Cash was rolling in, more than ever. The downside? I was alone. Jessa kept nudging me to date, but I wasn't ready. Finding out your wife cheated guts your confidence. Of our old crew, only Mitch and Rhea stuck around. They took me out once, and I met Mitch a few times for drinks. They never flaunted their happiness, but sometimes asked about Hannah. I figured she had the same questions. She tried keeping the house, but the bills piled up, and she sold it after a few months. Rhea, ever the optimist, said Hannah wasn't dating either. Can't say I blamed her. One day, I realized I'd been grinding so hard I lost track of time. I'd rattle off my schedule, Monday shoot, Thursday shoot, but the year blurred together. Jessa snapped me out of it. Wait, I get Labor Day off, right? Caleb and I are visiting his parents. Labor Day? I echoed. Yeah, you're taking it off too, she asked. That night, alone in my Cedar Lane apartment, it hit me, summer was slipping away. I usually love summer, cookouts, road trips, friends, but not this year. That chaotic shoot in Durham back in April was my last bit of fun. Now summer was nearly gone, and it felt hollow. The next day, Mitch called, inviting me to a Labor Day barbecue. I doubted Hannah would show, wasn't ready to face her. He swore she had other plans, and didn't elaborate. He talked me into going, and I actually looked forward to it. The day was sunny, warm, and perfect. Their backyard in Winston-Salem was packed with familiar faces I hadn't seen in months. Everyone offered condolences about the divorce, but after that, I loosened up. Spotted some new people, including a woman who caught my eye. Not a showstopper, but she had a killer figure and a quiet confidence. I watched her for a bit, she wasn't with anyone. Just as I worked up the nerve to say hi, someone pulled her into a chat, and she slipped away before I could try again. Didn't want to come off as a creep, so I grabbed a plate and headed to the grill. While Mitch piled a burger on my bun, she appeared behind me. You're the photographer, right? She asked. Mitch and I turned. You two haven't met? Mitch said, grinning. Wade, this is Laurel Hensley. She works with Rhea. Wade Conway, photographer and solid guy. Nice to meet you, she said, shaking my hand with a warm smile. Are you into photography? I asked. Not shooting, but I love looking at good photos, she said. Rhea says you're kind of a big deal. I laughed. Hardly. My workshop's a 5-minute walk from here. Nobody knows my name, but I'm damn proud of my work. We drifted to a shady spot under a tree, eating and talking. She grew up in a small town in Tennessee I'd never heard of, moved to Greensboro 3 years ago. Sharp, witty, with a playful edge. We laughed more than I had in months. For the first time in forever, I wondered what it'd be like to take her home. Divorce was weeks away, but if a chance came, I wasn't passing it up. We split off, mingled, then found each other again. As the party wound down, I was about to ask for her number, but she beat me to it. I'd love to see your workshop sometime, she said. Anytime, I said. Just say when. Open weekends? Not usually, but come Saturday or Sunday, whatever works. I'm a few blocks from the shop, and spend weekends editing anyway. The next day, Jessa caught me grinning. What's got you so chipper? She asked. Nothing big, just feeling better, I lied. She didn't buy it but let it slide. Saturday, I got to the workshop early, tidied up, brewed coffee, and stashed some beers in the fridge. When Laurel showed up, she'd swapped the party shorts for a skirt that still turned heads. I gave her the tour, and showed her how the gear worked. She wanted to see my photos, so we grabbed beers and sat in the office, flipping through recent ad campaigns. Beer hits me quick, I excused myself for the bathroom. When I came back, she was gone. Only one bathroom, so I knew she wasn't there. Laurel, you here? I called. Her voice echoed from the studio. I found her by the lights, stripped down to her underwear, posing playfully. Show me how to model, she said with a grin. I'd shot bare models before, but seeing her like that hit me differently. I wanted her badly, but this was my workspace, not my bedroom, she might not be ready for more. If we're doing this, we're doing it right, I said. Swapped the backdrop, pulled out some boudoir props, and guided her through poses, keeping it artistic. She looked surprised, probably thought I'd just snap a few shots and call it. We shot for about an hour. I handed her a robe, and we headed to the office to check the photos. She was thrilled, beaming at the screen. I edited a few, printed them for her. She said yes to dinner. We ended up at my place afterward. Your skills don't show in your decor, she teased, eyeing my bare apartment. Don't need much, I said. I'm at the workshop most of the time. This is just for eating and sleeping. Sleeping, she said, raising an eyebrow. My pulse raced. Right here, I said, taking her hand and leading her to the bedroom. It was sparse, but the mattress was solid, planned ahead. We hooked up, intense and easy. Tried to get her to stay, but she had work early and left after a quick shower. The first chilly day hit, and my divorce papers arrived. Felt like a sign. Laurel and I saw each other a few times a week, but it wasn't sparking, more casual than serious. I opened the Guilford County clerk's envelope. Jessa, sorting mail, held up a postcard. You were wrong, she said. Wrong about what? You said we'd never hear from Mira. She read it, made it big. Can't thank you enough. Love, Mira. Sent from London. Perfect timing, the divorce papers dragged me down, but Myra's card lifted me up. One chapter closed, another opened. A month later, snow dusted Greensboro, and temps hovered near freezing. Winter rolled into Winston-Salem like a freight train. Mitch's Labor Day barbecue helped me patch things up with old friends. Laurel tagged along a few times, but it wasn't serious, just casual fun. Word was Hannah was seeing a good guy from her office. They had a work picnic together, which is why she passed on Mitch's party. I sent her good thoughts. I'd loved her hard once, clinging to resentment forever wasn't my deal. Winter parking in Winston-Salem could be a hassle, but I didn't care about the chill. If I didn't need my truck, I'd park and hoof it 9 blocks to the workshop, steaming coffee keeping me warm. My route passed a newsstand, a gritty bit of local charm. I always checked the magazine covers. One freezing February day, Vogue's March issue caught my eye, rising supermodels in bold. Mira was front and center, stunning, shot by Gideon Voss, a giant in the industry. I smiled, genuinely proud of her. Maybe we'd cross paths again, but she was in a different world now. Could say I knew her, but who'd buy it? Back at the workshop, Jessa stormed in 15 minutes later, waving the same Vogue. Wade, you seen this? She hollered, buzzing with excitement. Yeah, happy for her, I said, thrown by her hype. Jessa looked a bit green. You read the article, she pushed. Just the cover, I said. It's about new models. Myra's interview is all you. What? I grabbed the magazine and sank into a chair. It was true, she talked about me finding her at the motel, teaching her the ropes, keeping her safe like a second dad. Said I was as good as any top-tier photographer she'd worked with and gave Jessa a mention too. I'd gotten props before, but this was next level. What now? I asked Jessa. Always had a soft spot for Mira, she said, almost embarrassed. I laughed. Felix Warwick called first, congratulating me, joking he was jealous Mira didn't name him, but said I deserved the shine. I thanked him, stunned. More calls rolled in, lifting my spirits. At 3 p.m., my phone buzzed again. Wade, it's Hannah, her voice came through, sounding brighter. Hey, I said, caught off balance. Doing okay? Yeah, she said, chuckling. When I mess up, I go all in. If I hadn't been so dumb, I'd be married to a world-famous photographer. I laughed. Still just the same guy busting my ass, Hannah. Not for long, she said. That model you launched opened a big door. Congrats, Wade. You're a damn good photographer and an even better guy. Her words hit hard, I still cared about her. Thanks, Hannah. Heard you're with someone new. Sounds solid. Gossip spreads fast, she said, laughing. Yeah, I'm with Owen. Sales guy, good heart. You'd like him. Wish you the best, I said. We hung up, and her voice brought back old joys, not just the hurt. The love was gone, and so was the anger. She was right, Myra's article kicked open a new path. My career took off like a rocket after that. First big break was shooting a cover for Triad Living magazine. Then a trip to San Diego for a swimwear campaign, followed by a feature for Elle. Back at the workshop, I scored a Revlon ad. Bumped Jessa up to photography assistant and hired 3 more, 2 for me, 1 for her. Gear upgrades stung, shelled out $41,000 for a camera, plus $16,000 in lenses. Jessa stressed about lighting on location, so I grabbed 6 battery-powered studio lights at $1,900 each, split evenly. The next few months, we hopped planes to Norway, Santorini, Tokyo, shooting with movie stars, supermodels, and moguls. One sticky Thursday, we touched down at Greensboro's PTI airport. Caleb was there for Jessa, and they collided like it had been a year. He helped with gear, but I waved them off. "Take 3 days off," I told Jessa. "I'm good." She protested, but I stood firm. Got to my apartment around 8 o'clock, heated a frozen burrito, poured coffee, tried the TV, but crashed in my chair. Woke up late, showered, and hit a Maple Grove deli for breakfast. Called my manager, Theo, who kept the madness in check. "No fluff, just business." "Theo, any shot at working with Mira again?" "Dream on," he said. "But what about Sports Illustrated's swimsuit issue?" "Get out of here," I said. That gig was huge, like a career trophy. "No need to beg," Theo said. "Myra's in and vouched for you." "SI sold." "I'm in," I said. "Where?" "Barbados," he said. "Also, maybe Pirelli's calendar next year." I was floored. Pirelli was a legend. Not holding my breath, I said. "Oh, and Wednesday's shoot for Timeless Vogue. Rainy night vibe, but no rain, you'll make it work." I was hyped after the call. Laurel invited me for dinner, and later Mitch called, asking me to Sunday dinner with him and Rhea. I'd sent them postcards from my trips. Unpacked gear, jotted ideas for Wednesday's shoot. Time vanished until my stomach growled, and I called it quits. Saturday with Laurel was chill, no deep spark, but solid company and great in bed. Dinner, a jazz spot, back to my place. She stayed since it was a no-work weekend. Sunday, I brought Laurel to Mitch and Rhea's for dinner. They wanted travel tales. I spun stories about shooting actress Nora Quinn in Tokyo and supermodel Lila Sterling in Norway. Rhea pulled out a Victoria's Secret catalog, flashing a sheer lingerie shot at Mitch. "Damn, Laurel, look at this," he said. Laurel raised an eyebrow, and I smirked. "Get our postcards?" I asked. "Yeah, and one from Hannah too," Rhea said. "Didn't send her any," I said. "She left one after coffee," Mitch said. "From Barbados." Rhea handed it over, eyes soft. I sighed. It was our honeymoon spot, one of her few trips abroad besides Vermont. Had to hurt, knowing I'd gone global without her. "She probably regrets it every day," Laurel said. "I know," Rhea said quietly. Later, Rhea and Laurel drifted off, and Mitch and I grabbed beers on the deck. "You're living large, man, Tokyo, Santorini, islands," he said. "It's nuts," I said. "Think Hannah'll ever forgive herself?" "No way," he said. "She talks to Rhea daily, says you should take her to Europe." "If we were still together, I'd bring her along," I said. "She still with that work guy?" "Yeah, Owen," Mitch said. "Sales rep, kinda bland, but he's all in for her. We've hung out. Might get married." "Good for her," I said. "Crazy how it all played out," Mitch said. "If you hadn't caught her with Trent, you'd still be doing local gigs." "Maybe," I said. Mira flipped it all. "I owe her." I took a swig. Life's good. Work's tough, but I dig the freedom. Miss being loved sometimes. Not saying never to marriage, but for now, single, traveling, stacking cash, hooking up with stars. I grinned. "Cheers to that," Mitch said, clinking his bottle. The Barbados SI shoot with Mira was electric. She hugged me like family. Of the 6 models, she snagged the cover. She's been everywhere since. Jessa and Caleb tied the knot. He quit his job, and I hired him so they could travel together. She's banking good money, so it's working. I've hooked up with plenty of big names. Half my goal of every Victoria's Secret model is done, just a couple left. Still hanging with Mitch, Rhea, and Laurel. Rhea said Hannah and Owen are engaged. Hannah talks about me nonstop, poor Owen. She's torn about inviting me to the wedding. Asked the date while I was shooting in Aruba. Got a flight booked for a Miami fashion party at a designer's penthouse. Might meet my dream girl there, or maybe not. I'm not missing the chance.